Well, here we have the armature. It's been puffed up. I did not puff up the wings because wings should be flat. I did puff up the abdomen and the thorax and the head, and you might notice a change. This was supposed to be a dragonfly, but it kind of spoke to me and said I would rather be a wasp. So it did turn into a wasp, and that's okay. We're going to be using a specialized glue. This is the Elmer's brand of glue. It's a powder. I mix it with water. Here's a no-name brand, and here's a store brand. And all of these do the same thing, and they mix a powder that looks like this. Clear, odorless, colorless, flavorless. Not that I'm going to taste it. And I'm going to be putting layers of paper that I glue on, and that is what paper mache is. Paper tears easily in one direction. It has a grain. It doesn't tear as easily in another direction. It kind of goes sideways. Keeps veering off. So I have a stack of butcher paper, and what you're going to do is you're going to cover the surface of your paper mache with layers of paper that have been glued. I dip it in. Here's just my fingertip. This hand, I'm going to use like a squeegee. I'm going to go like this. Squeegee it down. That spreads the glue over the surface. These two fingers are glue-free. The top of this finger and the top of my thumb have no glue, but right here I have extra glue, and I'm going to get rid of that. We don't want any of that glue that is extra to be dripping anywhere. It's not glue mache, it's paper mache. This is a perfect strip. It's evenly, uniformly wet, top to bottom, side to side, corner to corner. My fingers are not drippy wet. In fact, the tops of my fingers are completely glue-free. And I need to make this smaller, because what I'm going to do, and smaller again, I'm going to very precisely put a layer of glued paper onto the surface of my bug. We only need one layer. It's already quite strong. We took care of that when we did the puffing. So we don't need 2 layers, 3 layers, 5 layers, 7 layers. Sometimes you do. If we were doing one of these where we were covering a balloon, then we would want 7 layers, because that's the only way it's going to be strong enough to hold up. But we've got some cardboard inside. These already have some natural strength. All we're doing is creating a form that we can paint. Dip it in, scrape it off, scrape off the extra. Dip it in. That's all I'm getting wet, just my thumb and my finger. Squeegee it off, scrape off the extra, and make it small enough that it's not going to be wrinkly. We only need 1 layer, so we don't have to make really big pieces. With 1 small piece of the paper, we can cover a lot more territory. You are never going to be using pieces that are bigger than this. It's a small sculpture, so we need small pieces. If you use pieces that are bigger than this, you're going to not make it strong. So if I take a piece this size, dip, scrape, scrape. If I use this like this, I'm going to lose my form, and that's not good, so we need to make it smaller. Smaller, smaller. This is the size of one of those little mini Band-Aids. I would say there's not much that you'll be using that's going to be any bigger than that. Dip, scrape, scrape. Dip, scrape, scrape. And then make it smaller. One layer, no wrinkles. If there's a part that has lots of wiggles to it, you might want to put just a little bit extra. This part right here could be a wiggler, so we'll put a little bit more there than we would in the other places. You're going to be tempted to put lots of layers where it's easy. When you see a flat spot, you're going to want to put more layers there, but resist the impulse to do the easy. Do get one smooth, uniform layer over everything. We want this to look like it was sprayed on, and that's what we're going to paint. When you use tempera paint, we're going to paint the whole surface. After that, we're going to do some things with yarn to create lines and to help to unify it. These are going to be caught in the spider web, so we're going to do some things that are the same, so they all look like they belong in the same universe. Dip, scrape, scrape, make it small. Dip, scrape, scrape, make it fall, and you're in good shape.